Hey, are you okay?
Help me. Our airship's under attack by something nasty. It intends to massacre us all.
What?
This is Master Thomas. Seems you've arrived at the crash site. That entire area is an underground resource mining facility. If that airship explodes, it'll trigger the entire facility to detonate.
He means we're gonna get blown away. Come on, let's get out of here. The airship's this way, right? I don't get it. Those guys are all raiders. Why do you want to help them, of all people? The bounty hunters didn't know me, but they helped me. I want to do the same for someone else. I shouldn't need a reason to save lives. Okay, if you feel that strongly about it. Want me to go with you, right? Well, let's go, Gray.
If the airship is destroyed, you won't be able to recover any of its parts. Anyway, you have to prevent the worst from happening. Hurry, Gray.
And with that, hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Megaman ZX Advent. In the last part, we took care of the Arctic ice flow, and now we're here in a place I compared to Oil Ocean, but it's closer to that Oil Ocean look-alike from Sonic 4 Episode 2. This area, despite being supposedly fire-themed, mostly just has a bunch of enemies that'll throw grenades at you, stabbing galleons, and weirdly, galleons on motorcycles. The biggest example of mechanic here is that they make you use Rose Spark a good bit, like for a giant pit at the end of this stage. And that there's a bunch of pipes that you'll later be able to destroy, but we currently can't. There's also some shifting sands that'll push you left and right, but those come in very rarely, honestly. The thing with the motorcycle galleons, like the one I just destroyed, is that they'll get to right about, just about in front of you, and then they'll jump over you, so you want to sort of stop moving the moment they show up, and then walk over them, under them, as they jump over you, rather. Also, that secret disc, you can't get that until we've gotten a certain piece of equipment returning from the Zero and First ZX games. Alright, so this is the roughest part of the area right here. It's the second oil field area, not the first one. Gotta use Rose Spark and get over this giant bottomless pit. When Rose Spark gets damaged, he doesn't fall off the vines or poles, but it's very easy to accidentally overestimate your speed and take some really dumb hits. And now it's time for this stage's mini-boss, which is probably one of my least favorite in the game. Returning intro stage boss from ZX Original. I don't remember this thing's name. This one's Fire Elemental. It can shoot out gunk that can slow you down and make you all slippery. It can stun you with a purple eye flash, but easily its most annoying attack outside of the occasional head thrust where it just tries to slam down on you is it'll fire out this ring of fire that will go about halfway across the screen from where it is, and then expand. I do not know how to easily dodge that. If you're playing as Ashe, this mini-boss is a lot easier because you can just stand on the left side of the screen, and the angle of the floor here is just perfect enough that it's easy to reflect your charge shot with her different charge shot into the head of the boss, completely destroying it pretty quickly. By and large, I think they do a better job of making the two characters have good differences this time around, be it their normal charge shots or the charge shots of 5 particular A-trans candidates. More on that as we go through. I don't like this part of the level.
Are you here to help us? Some of us weren't able to get out in time. They're still trapped in that room. There's something funny going on with the power. Some of the doors won't open. Please, all my friends are trapped in that room. Please get them out.
So what we have here is a bit of a spin-off of the invasion mission from 01 and ZX, where we had to power up the generators here using Rose Spark's charge shots, and then rescue the members of the raiders found within a few of the certain rooms, namely the 2 to our left and one of the, both of the ones on the top floor above us. I think in general this place is just a slight asset flip from the Guardian base in ZX Original, I think is a keyword. Oh, finally it opened. Thank you. It's so weird. This area feels like it's meant to be like 3 separate things all at once, but it doesn't really get to be any of them. It's one of my least favorite stages because of that.
Who are you? Are you gonna hurt me? Please, no.
Even as a kid, I found this area real weird, and there's a real odd side quest later on in the game that I think they removed from the Legacy Collection that I'll talk about more towards the end of the game that involves this area too. I don't know who you are, but thank you for helping me. More. It's weird too because this area is really short. It's just these 4 rooms we need to enter. Oh, 5 rooms. It looks like there's another floor beneath the first floor, but we can't access that until after a certain point in the plot anyway, and it just involves a side quest where you give someone some energy crystals. Don't really get why. Also, if I haven't talked about it yet, the little icon you see on the bottom screen that looks like an icon, that's what they added for the Legacy Collection to implement the touchscreen mechanic without making it weird. That's controlled by the right stick. It's a little weird for certain things, but for just transforming or using the rare touchscreen thing, it's not too bad. There's really only one transformation it just feels wrong with on this.
Thank you. I'll never forget this.
And with that, now we're on to the boss fight, which slightly changes depending on whether you are playing as Ashe or Gray, as a few of the bosses do in the game. More on that in a few minutes. So, those raiders escaped through here. Every last one of you will become nourishment for Model W. It's time for us to start dealing with the other Megaman, don't you think?
Wait! So you managed to stay alive, Megaman Model A. Don't tell me you're here to help the Raiders. They're not even your allies.
I won't just stand by while innocent people are being hurt.
You're not innocent, just ignorant. The history of the world, the history of the war. And now, the strongest of those who evolved as a product of war remain. A newly crowned king of Megamen will soon spawn a new evolution. Those who die ignorant are simply unable to keep pace with progress.
So you feed them to Model W? I'd say that's pretty barbaric progress.
What would you know? You can't even comprehend your own power. If I'm the one that's wrong, try and beat me. Mega Merge!
So Atlas, using our good old friend Model F, is gonna jump between the 2 layers doing various charge shots. She'll try to do punches, she can send some shots forward that will track along a certain touchscreen mechanic returning from the first game. And she can just do shockwaves along the floor. Something she'll do only if you're playing as Ashe, though, is that she'll lay mines along the bottom of the floor and they'll explode in sequence, where your best safe spot is on the top floor. It's not a very hard fight. I think she honestly goes down pretty quickly, but she can surprise you with her damage. Oh, that's her charge shot for this one. She can do a giant charge that will explode into various shots on the far side. I forget she can do that a lot, because I honestly rarely see her do it in most of my fights against her.
Even if you are a defective, there's no changing the fact that you are still one of his creations. Very well, I yield to you. If you have the determination to fight, one day you will know who you really are, but regret that you didn't die ignorant.
What's happening? Model A! Yeah!
Extracting from code AW15 to CE70. Expanding report data. Congratulations! The Model A which I created is protected by a cipher that is broken only in battle. You, who broke the first cipher, are worthy to know its truth and its power. Through my research of the lost technology, I have created a key to unlock the door to a new evolution. Biometal Model W, he who holds it, will hold the power to rule the world. But it will take much time before people will finally appreciate my work. Sacrifices are necessary to awaken Model W. Model Ws which I have hidden throughout the world are waiting to become awakened. Waiting for when the one who understands my work appears.
to receive the power.
Model A, what the heck was that?
Was that the data recorded on me that those Sage guys were talking about? The data on the one who made Model W? And me?
Are you okay, Model A? We need to help the others. I think they ran this way.
Well, that was a little weird. But let's head on over here and... What are you doing?
What? Who in the heck are you? This shield's made of Severtanium. Your attacks are completely useless against it. So, why don't you save yourself the trouble? Go home. All this talk is starting to get really old. Yo, morph into that Atlas lady. And let's hit him hard with a charge attack. Say goodbye to that precious shield of yours.
Like any other pseudoroid, we can now transform into Model F, Fafnir Atlas, and she controls more or less the exact same as Model F from the first game. She can do charge shots that can send shockwaves. You can go into the touchscreen and change the trajectory of your two arms. And this is honestly really useful for taking care of certain mini-bosses and boss fight throughout the game. I think they do a better job using it here than they did in the first ZX. She is also absurdly powerful. Her base pellets do more than Model A's and even some of the other transformations from later on in the game. So if you're just trying to get through the levels, she's not a bad choice for general traversal. But let's destroy this Severtanium shield for now. And there you go.
Ah! Please, don't hurt me! I thought so. Just a bunch of wusses. Morph back and let's set the record straight. You saved our lives. Thanks a lot, Gray.
I'd like to use your airship for parts to repair our train.
Ah, it's already been taken care of. I just sent some of our guys to Hunter's Camp to do the repairs. We were all impressed with your strength and courage. We're gonna clean up our act and work with you as honest-to-goodness bounty hunters. Looks like you have a follower. It's not a bad feeling to be appreciated. The repairs should be almost finished. Go back to the camp and have a look. Hope you find out something at Legion.
And yeah, now we're good to go back to the train level and talk to someone to access the next major stage. But I do want to come back here for the first of the boss secret discs. That is the one that tells Atlas's background, which is the only way you really get any background information on any of the biometal users. Atlas can do a lot more than just that charge attack. Press the attack button while holding the control pad up to shoot upwards. Hold the attack button, then release it while holding the control pad down to perform the groundbreaker move. You can even change the trajectory of the Buster Shot. You can access that function by first selecting status, then change the trajectory by either touching the boxes or by pressing the right analog stick or using the D-pad. Select exit to complete the changes. So, the groundbreaker move isn't there if you're playing as Ashe. Like with the difference in the boss fight itself, Atlas has two different charge shots depending on which character you're playing as. If you're playing as Ashe, her groundbreaker move is replaced by the very mine attack she used in the boss fight against Ashe. Every biometal user is going to have some difference depending on whether or not you're playing as Gray or Ashe. Otherwise, the only minor differences I think are they pitch the voice samples of the other biometal users in the pseudoroids a little bit depending on the character you're playing as. Otherwise, that's all that's different. The dialogue is the biggest change between the characters outside of that. Now we, at this point, can head back to the train, but I want to backtrack to earlier in the stage. I believe this is the very start of Oilfield 2. Now that we have Atlas, we can break platforms like this. And there are two reasons we want to go down to this portion of Oilfield 2. Both of which are towards the right side of this arena. One of which you're technically not supposed to do until later in the game. But if you trick the game out just right, we can do it now, so we're gonna. We're gonna go to the far end for the first one first, and this is something I can recommend not grabbing if you're keen on getting true 100% in the game. Not yet. Wait until you're towards the end of the game to get this. Because similarly to life-ups like the one we got in the Tower of Verdor, there is a item that increases the amount of your biometal weapon energy, which, as I mentioned, we use for a lot of the charge attacks, a lot of sub-weapons, and that general thing. We just got the first biometal upgrade there. There are 4 of those in the game, just like there are life-ups, and we're going to be grabbing every single one of them.
With that said, now let's head in here for a bit of a side quest. Hey, I'm Antonio! Hey you, can I ask you to do something for me? I lost a wrench somewhere in this room. You tell me look for it, I'll hook you up later. So, the wrench is at the very top of the room, and you're not supposed to be able to do this until you've cleared at least the next stage, so you can easily climb those very thin platforms there towards the right. But we can stand on this one. So, if you climb the wall and then use Chrono Force to slow the platforms down, we can then, somewhat easily, depending on the spikes, because the movement here is a little awkward, use Buckfire to climb this room and get the wrench early. And it's much better to get this now than later because we get the first body chip in the game for this. The body chips are the exact same as they were in 0, I think 3, 4, and ZX. I think those are the games that I don't recall them being in 0, 1, and 2. In that they give some buff to the character you're playing as. Notably in this case, we are going to get the feather body chip. What this does is that in the case there's a platform that you would sink through or that would sink from you stepping on it, you no longer cause that to happen. It'll just stay the exact same. It's how you're meant to get that secret disc from earlier in this stage that when you stepped on the platform it fell for. It's not the most necessary, but getting every single one of these chips does make the game slightly easier with every little increment, though arguably they lock the best one behind the worst side quest in the game. More on that way later in the game. This isn't exactly a short Mega Man game. I think this might be the longest Mega Man LP yet. Yeah, that's it. That's my wrench. Guess I owe you one. Here you go. Well, longest of the Mega Man platformers, at least, because technically the Legends games aren't platformers. And no, this will be longer than that. This won't be as long as the Battle Networks or Star Forces when I eventually get to those. That's for certain. And with that, our duties here in the oil field are done for now. You do need to actively turn on the body chips, though. They're not active by default. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 6, we're going to be heading back to Hunter's Camp to ride the train over to Legion Headquarters. Finally, it only took us 3 parts to actively do the thing we set out to do at the start of the game. See you guys then.